Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, bootlickers, shills, dutch, lacehursts, peasants, vassals, minions, meat sacks. I'm Useful Idiot. Welcome. And let's go to the good old USA and talk about this new move by the Obama administration. Pretty interesting on the surface. The U.S. has expelled 35 Russian military operatives, intel operatives, and imposed sanctions on 4 high-ranking members of the Russian military intelligence unit who are theoretically behind this hacking. And as we've mentioned time and time again, of course, it's not a hack; it's a leak, and it's telling in itself that we have these 35 Russian military intel operatives that apparently have been operating in the United States for quite some time, but it's only now that they become a problem. So that's one thing that's interesting. And then the closing of these properties. There's 3 properties: a house on Maryland's Eastern Shore, a property on Long Island, and then a diplomatic retreat in Queen Anne County that was purchased actually back in 1972 by the Soviet Union. So there's been Russian intel operatives and diplomats and military people partying there since 1972, but it's a problem now. So the Obama administration is supposedly expected to release further evidence to link Russia to the Democratic National Committee and Hillary advisors. And first of all, that's kind of misleading because they haven't released any evidence at all so far. And so to release further evidence would be pretty much the first appearance of any evidence, if it should appear. And then once again, it's interesting to see this supposed link between Russia and undermining the Hillary campaign in the Democratic National Committee, because one of the things these leaks revealed, of course, was that the Hillary Clinton campaign undermined the Bernie Sanders campaign to the point where Bernie Sanders probably would have been elected as the nominee for the Democratic Party had they not been illegally undermined by Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the Democratic National Committee, working for Hillary. So kind of an interesting leak or idea for Russia to leak if they indeed wanted Trump to win. So anyway, and of course there's no real evidence to point to any idea that they wanted Trump to win. But anyway, this is a symbolic gesture, of course, and an interesting timing, of course, a parting shot. And the timing reveals everything. It's not only another shot at Russia in this new Cold War that's been started by the Obama administration and the dynamics that are going on right now, but also, obviously a parting shot at Trump, who wants to have better relationship with Russia. And there's a lot of people who are making a lot of these ties between Trump and Russia, and it's to be expected that Trump and people he knows would probably have connections to Russia, because there's a lot of interaction between U.S. businessmen and Russia. So nothing really unusual there. But one of the things is, even amongst liberal press, even amongst Rolling Stone of all things, they find this really peculiar, this move, and are not very happy about it, and it raises eyebrows by the fact that it is merely symbolic. There's no real teeth in it. It doesn't really do anything. They're throwing out people that really there's no evidence to connect them, and it's just part of this Russian boogeyman and this Russian hacking story that the timing of this also shows that it's completely politicized. So Obama will be out of office soon in an interesting parting gesture. And then they put the icing on the cake. A poll shows that 50% of Clinton voters believe this story to be true about Russian hackers, in spite of no evidence being produced by anyone, just being ballyhooed in the press and with the right headlines, and then this charade that everybody's getting in on. And so there you have it. The Obama administration throwing out 35 Russian so-called operatives that have been in the United States for quite some time, that supposedly now have some connection to these hacks. And now Putin in Russia has announced that he will not retaliate. There will be no expulsions of anyone there, and all he needs to do now is wait it out and see what happens when Trump gets in office, and we'll see if this new Cold War dissipates. But I know there's a lot of people out there too, that still believe this new Cold War narrative of that Russia is some kind of resurgent evil empire. But I've addressed in many videos, this is just a propaganda war, and in fact, the United States is encircling Russia and China, and this pivot to that region. But that's another topic for other videos I've already done, and future videos I will do. But right now, we just have this amazing this story that has no evidence whatsoever, really, to speak of these dramatic public and political gestures. It's incredible the lengths people will go, all the way up to the President of the United States, to try and legitimize this charade. I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too.